Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Sophia with Garden State Film Festival, and I am here with Dan Carlock, who is the writer, director, and star of the short film The Drive. Dan, thanks so much for joining us today, and congratulations.
Well, thank you, Sophia. I really appreciate being here.
Oh, I'm so excited to talk to you today. I have lots of questions, but let's get started by you telling everyone a little bit about The Drive.
Well, the drive, don't remember how it came about, but the, the premise is what's said and what's not said, and how the effect of saying something can change someone else's life completely, and just wanted to explore that with my son.
Mm, wonderful synopsis. And you said you're not sure how it came about, but can you remember when you wrote it and maybe what was the inspiration behind writing The Drive?
Yeah, the having being a dad, and having a son, and having been in the opposite, where I was the son and having a dad and not telling him anything. I kind of, as the dad, I always was being very annoying, trying to talk to my son, and he'd be like, "Dad, shut up." I know that stuff. But the good thing about that is he got used to that. So just like just at night, I always told him, no matter how old you get, we're gonna say goodnight and hug. And at first he's like, "Oh, yeah, blah blah." But now it's like some nights when I forget to do it, he'll actually
Mhm.
come over to me and give me a hug. So hopefully it works somehow.
I love
Um,
that.
so
Oh, I hope everyone implements that because saying goodnight before you go to sleep changes a lot. So I think that's beautiful. And the writing in this script is so important. It's very dialogue heavy. There's really interesting conversations. So, what was that writing process like? How long did it take to write this script?
once I had the basic premise down, it pretty much wrote itself to a certain degree, because I actually drew upon experiences I had with my son. So I was
Mhm.
able to kind of morph those into the little segments of each part of the film. And then after I wrote it, I actually showed it to him and said, "Would a kid actually like this?" And he goes, "No, I wouldn't." They would never say that word. They would say it this way. So he actually helped with the final draft of this, because being that I wasn't talking kid lingo, that he had to fix a couple little spots here and there.
Well, that makes a lot of sense because it's so natural. This I was just like, I feel like I'm talking to someone I know. It was very organic. So I was even wondering if there was some improv, but most of that was all written.
The each part was written. It varies because I would forget my lines, because I was actually
There's a lot of
driving.
lines in there.
Well, there's a lot of lines. Plus, I was actually really driving and had three cameras going, and
Mhm.
was the crew. So I had the micro. I was worried about making sure the mics were working, that all three cameras are rolling, and I wasn't going to get us into a car crash. So my
Mhm.
brain, every once in a while, would forget about the dialogue, and I'd kind of go off somewhere, and my son would be like, "What are you talking about? That's not in the script." And I say,
Uh,
"Well," and a couple times it worked. A lot of times it didn't work, but I was wearing a lot of hats that day, so it took a little while to get all the pieces together.
yeah. Oh, wow. So you were doing audio, camera work, star of the film, and then you ended up yeah, and you wrote it and you directed it as well. Many hats.
Right. I had a couple hats on, but a lot of it was
Wow.
out of necessity because there was no budget. We kind of
Mhm.
came up with the idea and said, "How can I make this happen?" And forced my son to be in it with me. And
Yeah,
I
and I
think the best
definitely
pizza was, I owed him a pizza after we were done. We went for
oh,
lunch.
good. I'm glad you fed him.
Yeah.
So how did he feel about acting with his dad? Is this the first time that you guys acted in something together?
Yeah. No, I think he's a natural. I think he's really
I
got
agree.
that bug. He can be a little reserved about it, but I really this kind of pushed him to have to be out there, and he really kind of fell into that character, and to the point, like,
Mhm.
when we do cuts, he was still acting like that. So I had to
Yeah.
go, "Hey, not that character anymore. You can talk to me normal." But yeah, no, no, he's fantastic, and I hope he does a lot more stuff. I know I would cast him. So
Absolutely. So this is his first time performing in something?
yes, me.
I'm shocked. He was extremely natural.
No, he was great. He was great. That's
Yeah.
where it really is. Also too, I think the chemistry that we were actually really father and son in real life
Yeah.
helped. already knowing each other so well.
So was he the first choice when you were like, okay, I have my son in this, let me ask my son, or was that something that you were like, let me think about it and maybe I should get another actor, or you knew he was going to play this part?
No, well, way back when I was first came up with the idea, originally I was not going to be in it or have my son be in it. I was going to get professional actors who could do it. But then I started realizing, because of the budget restrictions and stuff, that also too, just me being able to direct it and watch what was going on, there really wasn't any. I'd have to be tucked somewhere in the back seat, and really
Mm,
couldn't really see what was going on, and the nuance of the performance. So kind of over time, kind of morphed into, well, maybe I could pull it off. And I said, well, if I can pull it, maybe I can convince my son to do it with me, and that way I was able to be in it, and knowing what I wanted, what I didn't want, also knowing what the shots were set up to be, and being able to, as the director, be right there and not have to either be in another car hoping that the performances are happening,
mhm.
and be able to get it all going.
Wow, and I wanna talk about the filming process because unlike a lot of films when we see, driving shots, sometimes we see a green screen, but you're actually driving in this, and it is a lot of driving because all of the short film takes place in the car. So what was it like? You mentioned it a little bit before, it was hard to wear those many hats, but what was it like filming? And talk about, yeah, having all these cameras in the car and you guys just acting it out.
Well, what I wanted to do, again, what you brought up before, Sophia, is that I wanted to feel natural. So I wanted there to
Mhm.
be overlaps with the dialogue. And a lot of times, if you only have the one camera, you have to be careful with overlapping dialogue, just for editing's sake. So what I wanted to do is I actually mounted 3 cameras into the dashboard, 3 4K cameras that I had to take completely apart. So it was the smallest version of each camera, and put them in. So
Wow.
one was a 2 shot, and then it was a single back and forth on us. So that way, while we were driving, we could overlap, and it was all from that same take. So I was able to have all the multiple angles, which made it fun for driving, because I had them all on the dashboard in front of me while I was driving, and also I had a little light in front too. So kind of little danger. I'm surprised the cops didn't pull us over at some point, because
I'm
as we're
sure you were
driving.
the safest driver on the road.
Well, that's not saying much, but I was having to be very careful, because again, it was just a lot of
Wow.
rubbing head, patting the other thing. So
Yeah, that is a talent for sure. That's a talent. I had to learn how to do that. That is amazing. You had to take apart the camera, so it was the smallest version. Have you done that before? How did
not
you even
just
think of that?
I mean, it was 3 Sony FS7s, which have the handles and all the other gizmos. So
Ah,
I had to take, the handle off. I got it down just to the body and a lens. And then
wow.
and then from there, run cables, because I wanted to I had a little monitor down by the gas pedal, so I could actually make sure that the cameras were running.
Um,
And then on top of that, we were both wearing wireless mics, so it was trying to monitor, making sure that we weren't getting
oh,
interference. So it was a lot of moving
yeah,
parts, really, with the car going.
that is amazing. Congratulations. That's very
Yeah,
impressive. And just you, no other crew doing that. Just you and your son in the car and 3 cameras
yeah, that
and
was
some
us.
audio. That's very impressive. So I want to talk about you as a director, Dan. Sorry, you might hear some ambulances going
Okay,
on,
now
Jersey
I'm
City.
in a minute too, so
So you won 2 Emmy Awards and you
yes.
were nominated for a Grammy as a director. That level of success, I mean, congratulations, number one, but I would love to know how you achieved that level of success. What do you think got you here and where you've been in your career?
Well, the Grammy nomination was really cool. I lost to Jimi Hendrix. So if you're going to lose to somebody, losing to Jimi
Oh
Hendrix
my
is kind of a cool
gosh.
thing. Oh, I lost to Jimi Hendrix. Um, I have to say, I was very blessed with parents who, when I was 8 years old, I wanted to be a filmmaker. I don't know if I knew what that meant when I was 8 years old, but I had parents who let me do that. I had my Super 8 camera. I made all the dopey Super 8 movies when I was a kid, and cut them, to splice them, learn how to do all that. And I was very fortunate, after college, to get into the film business and get on a TV series where you basically see the same movie over and over, directed by a different director each week. So you learn from that what not to do, what worked, what didn't work, why that took 2 hours to do, and why this only took a half hour to do it this way. And you, at least for me, I absorbed everything working as a technician on a bunch of different shows over the years. And while doing that, was making my own projects, and was fortunate. I worked on the original version of Law and Order as the gaffer,
Oh
and
my.
you just, if you watch, you can pick up so much. You know what this person does, what the grip does, what the best boy does, what the camera
Mm,
AC does. And if you watch, it's the best school just to being on a set.
mm.
And while doing that and doing those crazy hours, I was making my own projects on the side, and was got gutsy enough one day to go, hey, can I maybe direct one of these days? And actually, luckily, the producers on the job said yes. And they were very great that way in terms of helping crew members who wanted to move up the ladder. And luckily they saw something in me and let me direct an episode. And then that's what I've been doing since.
Dang, what an amazing start of your experience. At 8 years old, you knew you want to be a filmmaker. That is a true inner calling that you followed, and I love that. So you don't know what.
If you found those, I've been digging out some of my original Super 8 movies, and very
Yeah,
cringe, where definitely was
there
where
might
it
be
all
some
started.
meat in there. Maybe are you gonna reenact and remake any of those?
There's a few. There was one I did in college that was ahead of its time. It was called Dawn of the Night of the Dead, the musical, and
Ooh.
actually, I don't know how it was on a show back called Night Flight, and which is cool. It was cool to see it on TV. But then somebody totally unrelated to me posted it on YouTube, and I got like 10,000 hits or some crazy amount of hits, and I hadn't posted it myself. It's something. It's very crude,
Mm.
but it got a lot of recognition on YouTube after with me not doing anything about
Geez, that's just the universe. Like, we need this to happen. That.
it.
Oh my
Or
God, that's
something.
amazing. So you say when you were 8, you don't know why you loved filmmaking, but now what do you love about filmmaking? Why do you continue to tell stories?
I, I have no choice. I've slipped through the cracks, and this is all I can do now. I just love it. I mean, it's every job is the same but different. And it has its different challenges and different. How can I make this work? And I've worked on jobs where I've had a massive crew and massive budget,
Mm,
and then I've worked on things like The Drive, which had no crew, no budget, and each job is a challenge. Each time you do one of these, it's you have these parameters. How am I going to make it work and be the best that it can be? And sometimes it's actually more exciting. You don't have the budget because you have to figure out creative ways to make things work without
mm,
being able to throw money at it to make it happen. So you have to, how can I make this work and make it look cool, but I can't afford to do this to make that
mm,
happen. And then you have to come up with creative ways, which for me, that's what I love about the business is getting to be creative and come
right.
up with fun ideas like that.
Yeah, and one of the really creative shots I saw in The Drive was that last shot, and the film's really unpredictable, and I love that twist about the film. So we won't give anything away, but the last shot, the ending shot was just the camera movement. It was beautiful. I was like, I had to rewind it and watch it again. I was like, how do they do that? So I want to talk about that ending shot with you. Who was the camera operator? How did you guys achieve that look? Yeah, talk to me about that
Yeah,
last shot.
a good friend of mine, Kelly Richardson in Connecticut. Fantastic. He has lots of jibs and dollies, and he's been in the business forever. Great guy. I told him about this project, and I kind of showed him a rough idea of the shot I wanted to get, and he said, "Yeah, okay, I think we could pull it off." And gracious as he is, he actually did it as a favor to me. That he actually came out and set up the shot with me. With just doing it as a friend, which that's an amazing thing in this business. If you work long enough and you meet enough people, that you run into people like Kelly, who are just great guys who will help with your project, and vice versa. If I could ever help him out with a project, or other friends of mine, um, um, that's that to me is, you hear all the negative things in this business, but then you get something like that. It just makes you so happy. But the shot itself, yeah, that the money shot, so to speak, uh,
Yes.
is it really happened fairly quickly once we figured out how to do it and set up the camera and worked out the thing and making sure we didn't see reflections of the crane or the camera. Once it happened, it actually went fairly smoothly. We only did like, I think, 3 takes. But the interesting thing was on the very last take, which is the one we used, it started raining, and
Mm.
really kind of adds to the feel of what the shot's supposed to be. But what I call the happy accident, that it wasn't
Mhm.
like we had, rain machines there. Okay, let's cue the rain and let's do this. Just on the last take, it started raining, and it
Oh.
worked perfect for the mood. And of course, that was the shot we ended up using. And then we
Oh,
couldn't do any more
amazing.
into wet. We had to break all the
Right.
equipment.
It definitely worked. What a happy accident. Well, I mean, shout out to Kelly, shout out to your son Quinn, and you, Dan. You guys did a fabulous job. I want to tell everyone how they can see The Drive. It will be screening Saturday, March 25th in the film block, 12:15 to 2 p.m. at the Jersey Shore Art Center. And Dan, you're a New Jersey native, right? So you will be there?
I will be there. I will be there. Definitely. Can't wait.
Love to hear it. Thank you so much for taking the time out today to talk to us. Congratulations on The Drive, and we'll see you at Garden State Film Festival.
Thank you, Sophia. I really appreciate it. Thanks.